Alright, guys. It is now after 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time, and I have been out on an emergency service call, and I come back to see how many people are going to join up when I finally try to do this live stream for today. I've been trying and trying all day long. Well, not all day. But at 10 o'clock I was going to do a live stream, and I got the great idea that I was going to improve the live stream. I had all these tablets out and everything, and it went for shit, and it wasn't until like 10:20 before I even started. And the bad thing is that I got a call right after that. Water coming through the ceiling. So I had to go out to my call, and I had all these big ideas I was going to give away, Z Manifold, all this good stuff. But I'm wondering if any of our West Coast guys are going to be around right now to tune in to this show, which is 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but 10 o'clock West Coast. So I don't know. I just don't know. I'm waiting to see if someone joins up. I don't know if they're going to or not. I might try to hit that picture button, but it's going to shut down my broadcast probably. I don't know. We're going to see. I might go get my phone out just to make sure we are broadcasting. So I'm going to give it like 10 seconds. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to get my phone and come back. Nobody's home. Let's see if we're actually going to the right channel or what. Yeah, it is. It says one person's watching. Well, hot damn. Who's out there watching? Well, they're gone now. Let's see what's going on here. In the picture I'm inside now, so I'd like to know who's out there watching. Man, it's late. Are you West Coast out there? I'm going to tell you about this service call, why I was taken away from my live stream. Again, it has been a struggle to find an application, and I have this bad thing about once I find something, I got to find something else, try it out, whatever. But I got this call out, and had to go out because there was water coming through the ceiling, real urgent. And why I really had to go out, and what I didn't say, what guys didn't know, is that it was real urgent because I had put this unit in last year. So it was super urgent. I had cleaned out the drain. I had done everything I could do. There was 2 different flow switches and a freestat in this unit. But still water was coming through the ceiling. So what happened? And I left out of here around 11 o'clock, and of course I just got back, and it is, let's see. Well, right now it's 1:34 in the morning. So I'll be pretty tired here shortly. So it's 1:34 in the morning. I get over to the house around 11 o'clock. I climb up in the attic, and I can see where there's water around the air handler. So I say, man, this is weird. My float switch. Oh. John, HVAC, me, I'm in bed. Well, most of the time I'm in bed. West Coast with Tracy. Well, it's a good chance for the West Coast to finally get one of the broadcasts. So it's 10:30 in the West Coast, so even you guys are going to bed. But I got up in the attic, there's water around the unit, and I was like, oh shit. Because I was seeing liability. Because since I put the unit in, there's water on the ceiling. Whatever they had to fix, I'm going to have to pay for. And general liability has a deductible like everything else, so when you got a little bit you got to pay for, you're going to be paying for it out of pocket. So it looks like it's not going to be a big job, but it's going to cost me a couple $100 at least, probably. So I get up in the attic, and I'm looking around, and I take the cap off of the little SS, the little 90 degree, it's like SS2, SS1, I can't remember what it is, but it's full of water. But the switch isn't tripped. So I'm thinking that and I've picked it up, and it's moving around, but I'm thinking that the float switch never tripped. So that kind of sucked. I look in the primary drain, the water's all the way up to the top. You know, you have it coming out of the air handler, then going into a P-trap, the water's all the way up to the top where it comes out of the air handler. So I take the little cap off the top, it starts bobbing around because of the air pressure letting off of it. So I was like, well, shit. And then there's a T right after the P-trap. So I go right after the P-trap, look in the T, and it's bone dry. I mean, there's a massive clog in that P-trap. A P-trap that's only a few months old. The unit was put in I think September, August or September of last year. So it's just amazing that this thing is already clogged up. But it had. So I vacuumed out the clog and all the water out of the air handler rushed out. But before that, I could see what had happened. At the back corner of the air handler, this is a Nordyne air handler, I saw water dripping. So when I went on the back side of the air handler to check things out, because there's a secondary drain on the pan, it had water in the pan. The guy's like, he vacuumed out some of the water before I got there. But he said, yeah, there's water halfway up the pan. I was like, halfway up the pan? So the water didn't actually overflow from the pan. And there's a secondary drain on the back of it. So I was like, hey, guy. It's like a bug flying up here. Good grief. It's like, hey, guy, you know, if it didn't go out the secondary, it wasn't high enough to go over the side of the pan. And obviously, if it's high enough to go over the side of the pan, it ought to be going out the pipe, out the back of the pan. So the water had to be dripping out from somewhere else. And I looked back in the return, and I put my hand under the return box, and insulation in the return box was just inundated with water. It was totally saturated. Water had been dripping out of the coil pan on the interior of the air handler and dripping into the pan, but also getting into the insulation of the return box. Now, once it was saturated, there was gaps in the insulation enough so where the tape had not quite covered it up, or there was a puncture in the insulation, the water started dripping out of it. And then eventually, so much water got out of it, it got on the ceiling, started dripping out through the ceiling. So it was a real mess. No real cause on why that the trap filled up and blocked so early on in its life. I don't know why that is. I vacuumed stuff out, it just seemed like a bunch of crud and dirt like you'd find in any other trap that was clogged up. I didn't see anything crazy in there, just dirt piled in there. So I don't know, guys. It was kind of a weird one, but it took me away from my live broadcast, which pisses me off. So I might do another one before, if Mike's doing a hangout tomorrow, which I'm sure he is, I might do another one before the hangout, because I think that's fair, because a lot of guys tuned in to watch it, and I feel bad for not being able to do it. It lasted like 5-10 minutes, and I had to leave. So I had a voicemail, and I called the guy back, because the voicemail, the guy's like, water's coming through the ceiling, so I called him right back, and I had to leave out, unfortunately. So I might do one tomorrow, like 8:30 before the hangout, if I can get a chance. It's hard to do things earlier like that because the kids are still awake. But they might stay up late tomorrow because it's Friday, so I'll do the live broadcast at 8:30, maybe go inside and hang out with them till they go to bed, and go to the hangout. But it has been one hell of a day. Tomorrow I had our first thing in the morning service call, but I think I'm probably going to be late for that. And it's not a critical thing. It's a common area in the apartment building where I do a lot of my service calls. They have a unit that had a full drain pan. Shocker. So I probably got to get the same thing I already did today. I'm going to do again tomorrow morning. I was picking up some boards for the chicken coop. So maybe I'll still be able to do that. I don't know how tired I'm going to be. Like I said, it's going to be 2 o'clock or after before I go to bed, and I got to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I might take the kids to school, come back and catch a couple-hour nap, and then go to work. That way I'm not, cranky and a bastard all day. Because if I don't get no sleep, I'm a bastard. Excuse me. But, alright, West Coast guys. I'm going to bed. I'll see you later. Just want to give y'all an update. Looks like there's 2 of you. John and Tracy, and I'll see both of you tomorrow, hopefully. Either at the hangout or at the live stream that I'm going to do. So, good night, guys.